Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to create a nice looking dashboard with different KPIs like quotations, orders, revenue, and average order. Then we have different graphs like bar chart, line chart, pie chart, and others. We also have a combination of line chart and bar chart. Well, you're not limited for only these charts, since there are a lot more samples that you can use. I use Chart.js free library, which is the same what Odoo is using. However, we will be implementing the latest version so that you can implement different charts of your choice. We also have date filter that you can select, and once selected, notice that the value will change as well as the charts will re-render. In addition, you can select each of these KPIs that will redirect you to specific views with the correct values based on the filter. Let's try quotations. Now we have 6, and after clicking, it will show me all the 6 quotations. If we change it to last 7 days and click quotations again, now it's only showing 1 quotation. I'm using an action service here so I can define and add different contexts like group by date in orders or pivot view instead of list view. The same with graphs. If we click the arrows above the chart, it will give you the pivot view per month. But if you select each graph, only the selected data will show. Let's try month of July quotations, having total of 6240. Okay, let's try orders with a total of 10075. It's also the same. As well as other graphs, only the selected data will show based on what you click. I know there's already existing dashboard in Odoo which I believe will cover most of this. However, this tutorial will be beneficial if some specific requirements are needed, like simply changing the colors of the graph, showing different KPIs in a presentable manner, or just by changing the look and feel of a dashboard that will impress your clients, right? Actually, there's a better version of this by using Odoo spreadsheet. The values you see here is coming from spreadsheet. However, you need to install the Documents module which is available only in Enterprise version. So if you're using Community, you'll not be able to do this. But maybe you're asking, why I have a dashboard here? Well, they did this report using JSON format. If we check the module, it's under Spreadsheets module. For example, the Sale dashboard, it's under Spreadsheet Dashboard Sale module under Files folder. The one you see in Dashboard Sales and Product is actually these files. If you open these files, you can see a lot of data regarding the spreadsheet. So it's impossible to just copy this code just to do the same version of Odoo Enterprise. If we check the one I did, it's pretty much the same. We have the filter, same KPIs, quotations, orders, revenue, and average order. The good thing here is I can represent this data into different graphs and do whatever I want. So I hope you're excited to learn these things. I actually separated this tutorial into several parts so that I can explain first the basic functionalities before moving to the more advanced functionalities. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe for more tutorials or just hit the like to support my channel. Alright, let's start and play the music. To make this tutorial faster, I already created the menu and the client action, as well as the necessary files in creating a new module like the init and manifest files. I added sale and board module here to have some data. We are only going to use JavaScript and XML files here, so we don't need other Python files for controllers or models. Under SRC Components folder, I have created two files, sales-dashboard.js for the component and sales-dashboard.xml for the template. As you can see in Odoo screen, it's only a simple text custom sales dashboard. Before we do the functionalities, let's prepare first the layout. Let's replace this text on new div with class VH100 overflow auto so that it will be scrollable, and add a light gray background using BG muted class. I have created a simple layout here, so we need to add them into boxes with white background and shadow. Let's add a new div with class row with margin 3, then create a new div with class call-lg-7 and the other div to call-lg-5. We want to make the left side bigger. And on the left side, let's create a new row, and inside that, create a new column that will use the entire row. Add margin 0 and padding 0. Inside this column, let's add a new div and add a shadow, border, margin 2, padding 4, and background white. If we check the layout, we have on the left side the title and on the right side is the filter. Let's then create a new div with display as flex, align item center, and justify content between to separate each of these elements on both sides. Let's add h1 with the class text primary and font weight bold. Add text custom sales dashboard. Then create a new div, and inside that, create a new select input field with class form select. Let's add the first option with value is equal to 0 and text as select period. Duplicate it 4 times and change this to 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, and 365 days. Let's go back and check the layout. Okay, next, let's add the 4 KPIs. Notice that they all have the same layout, so instead of creating them into this template, it's better to create a subcomponent and just import it for better code structure. Well, this is the idea of components, right? Let's create a new folder, KPI card, and inside that, create two files which are KPI card.js and KPI card.xml. Under the JS file, let's declare Odoo module, then simply import component from all. Create a new class and don't forget to add export so that it can be imported by other components. Let's name it KPI card that extends component. Then let's define the template name as all KPI card. Copy this name and paste it in the template. Add all is equal to 1. Inside this template, we can use the box template we used in the dashboard, but instead of call, we need to make it call LG3 since we need to add 4 boxes. Then let's make all text align to center. Let's delete this code, and inside this folder, create a new div with class h1, font weight bold, and text dark. For now, let's add a static text 10. Then add a new div with class h3 and text muted with a static text as quotations. Then add a new div with class h3 and margin top 5. Inside this div, let's create a new span with class text success, and inside this span, add a new span for the icon with class FA arrow up. Add another span with the static text 10% and another span with text since last period. Let's now import this component to sales dashboard component. Import KPI card from the same directory, KPI card/KPI card. Let's then add this component to sales dashboard using components property, which is equal to an object, and add KPI card component. Once that is done, we can now use it in sales dashboard template. Add a new row and add KPI card component. Let's go back and reload the page. Alright, it's working fine. Let's fix the icon. We need to delete the dash. Go back and check. Okay, the icon is showing. But the values are still small. So let's add style and change the font size to 48 pixel. We also need to change the color if the value is negative and as well as the icon to down. Let's add the attribute with function and instead of success, replace it with hash with open and close bracket. This is the same idea using template literals in JavaScript. For now, let's add static percentage as 10. So if 10 is greater than 0, let's make it success. Otherwise, danger. Do the same with the icon. Add the attf and instead of up, let's replace with the same code here and make it up and down. We also need to add margin and 1. Let's go back and reload the page. Okay, the color and icon are correct, but this one should be black. Let's move it down. Then let's try to make it -10. Go back and reload. Okay, it's now red and the arrow is down. In order to make this value as dynamic, let's add new attribute to KPI card component in sales dashboard template. Let's begin with the name and make sure to add quotation mark so that this will be interpreted as a string. Let's make this as quotations. Then orders, revenue, and average order. Under KPI card template, whatever attributes you define under sales dashboard component, it will become props, and we can access them using props and the name of the attribute, which is name. Let's replace this to span tscape props.name. Let's reload. And yes, we now have different names to each KPIs. Let's do the same to the value and percentage. Let's say for quotations, value as 10 and percentage as 6. For order, values as 20, percentage 20. Revenue, value as 30.50k and percentage as -3. Average, value as 2.5k and percentage as -10%. Then under KPI card template, let's replace this text to span tscape props.value as well as for the percentage. Then instead of static number here, we need to add props.percentage. Let's double check the sales dashboard. Okay, let's add quotation mark here to avoid errors. Let's go back and reload the page. Alright, we now have different values and percentage. Now let's do the graphs. Let's simply copy this code and paste. Replace this to H3 and the text to monthly sales. For the div, add a padding left and right 3 and top bottom 1, video primary, and cursor pointer. Add an icon by adding class FA arrow right, and text white. Let's go back and reload the page. Okay. Now we can copy the same code to other charts. So below this chart, we need to add partner orders. And on the left side, let's add top products. But for this, we need two charts. So let's add call LG6, copy this code and paste, and make it top sales people. Go back and check. Okay, now let's check how we can add a new chart. Let's click Getting Started and Installation. We have different options here, like NPM, CDN, and others. But for Odoo, we need to use either CDN, JS Deliver, or directly downloading the file. For this tutorial, I will be using CDN. Let's click the CDN link. I will be using the latest version here, but you can choose any version you want. as long as you check the correct version in the documentation on how to use it. Actually, Odoo uses version 2.9.3. If you check under Web, Static, Lib, Chart folder, and Chart.js file. You can use this if you want to use only the basic graphs. For this tutorial, I will be using the latest version, which is 4.4.0. Select Asset Type JavaScript. We need to choose UMD version so that it will be compatible with Odoo. Copy the minified version. Under Sale Dashboard component, import Load.js from Web Core Assets. Import also onWillStart for loading the JS link. Use ref for selecting the canvas from the template and onMounted in rendering the chart. Under Setup method, let's add the onWillStart lifecycle method and add the syncAwait method, Load.js, and paste the Chart.js link. Let's go back, activate Developer Tools, go under Network tab, and choose JS file. Reload the page to check if it's properly loaded, and yes, it is showing on the list. Let's see how to implement Chart.js. Click the step-by-step guide. So we need to add a canvas element in our template, and then use that as the first parameter when creating a new chart. Let's copy this code. But first, let's create a new canvas element in our template in Top Products, but instead of ID, let's add tref chart. Under component, let's add a new ref. This the chart ref is equal to useRef we defined in the template. Then add onMounted lifecycle method and add the code in rendering the new chart. Instead of document.getElementById, let's replace it. Let's go back and reload the page. Okay, the chart has been successfully rendered. We can change the type to line here. Go back and reload. Not only that, if we check the examples, we can also add other charts like bubble, combo bar and line chart, donut, etc. Let's try donut. And notice also that we can customize it using the options object. Let's copy and change the legend position to bottom. Let's check. Okay, the legend is already at the bottom. There are other options that you can use under configuration and click title for example. There is also position option here, so let's add position in title to bottom. Go back and reload. Now the legend and title are at the bottom. Feel free to use other options. You can also check options for specific chart types. Let's see donut and pie charts and click setup. In this example, they use specific backgrounds and hover offset, which makes the graph move when hovered. Let's copy this code and replace the one we added. Notice that the datasets is an array, which means we can add more objects. Copy the same object and paste. Change the label and data values and the color to red, green, and orange. So whatever the key number here will match in the labels key. Then change the type to donut. Let's go back and reload the page. Alright, we now have two datasets. Since we will be using it several times, we can also create a new component and pass a props type to change the chart type easily. Let's create a new folder, chart renderer, and inside this folder, create two files, chartrenderer.js and chartrenderer.xml. Under the JS file, copy the code in Sales Dashboard component and paste. Let's rename the class to chart renderer as well as the template name. Let's copy the template from sales dashboard and replace it with all.chart renderer. Let's define a new function, render chart, and transfer this code in this new method. Then under onMounted, let's call this the render chart method. Let's now import this on sales dashboard component and add it on the list of components so that we can simply use it on sales dashboard template. Let's go back and reload the page. Okay, we have achieved the same result. But now, we can reuse it. Let's now copy this code to top products, monthly sales, and partner orders. Let's go back and reload the page. Now to change the chart type, let's add a new props type and pass a string value. For partners, it will be line chart. Monthly sales will be bar chart. Top salespeople as pie chart. And top products as donut. Go back and reload the page. Alright, we now have different chart types. But the issue here is that some settings will not be suitable for other chart types, like the line chart. So we also need to create their own datasets later. But for now, let's remove the background colors, reload the page, and now it will automatically select colors for you. Let's change the chart title. Let's add a new props title and pass a string value. For this one will be top products report, top sales people report, monthly sales report, and partner orders report. Then under chart renderer, let's replace the title text to this .props.title. Let's check. Okay, we have different titles. Alright, so right now we have already created the layout of the sales dashboard. With only a few codes, we are able to reuse these components as many as we want. For the next topic, we are going to add data to each graph based on the values from the database as well as the values for these 4 KPIs with the filter above. So if we click any of this filter, the values will automatically change as well as the graph values. Thank you guys for watching and I hope to see you on the next tutorial. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done that yet. Like and share this video if you think it's beneficial to others. God bless everyone.